Hello Space Fairies! Welcome to a new painting talk. I asked you guys on Twitter what I should talk about next, and enough people said we don't really mind for me to decide that today's episode is just going to be about not an awful lot, and is also mostly completely very improvised. So I'm literally just on my bed in front of the mic and I have no idea what I'm going to say, so this is an adventure for all of us. I'm just going to have a bit of a ramble more than anything. So you can decide if you either want to tune me out and just watch this lovely painting, or you can open a different tab and just listen to me talk about nothing for a bit whilst you do other stuff. It's like a really unstructured visual podcast where you can opt in to whichever element you like best, but also not actually that. So I'm actually recording this after having finished these paintings, so I already know how they turn out, which is a nice feeling, because I think if I was recording this first, I would be quietly plagued with self-doubt. Because I went to Summer in the City early this month, and it was a really nice time, and I went with Amy. So at Sitsi, I'm very lucky to get the chance to both be on panels and also wander the expo hall without, needing to go backstage very much, which is especially nice because it means I get to meet people who enjoy my videos and my art, and I can do more casual meet and greets, and I can go on the rides and browse the stands, and I don't ever really feel very overwhelmed, and I can spend time with Amy. One of the places, or rather one of the features I really love seeing every year at Summer in the City is the Arts and Crafts Fair, and it gets bigger every year, and a lot of my friends and people from the online art community are there, and they're just meeting people and selling crafts and originals and prints and sometimes commissions. Like my friend Jake was there and he was selling personalized cat portraits. I got one, it's very cool, and he was giving, all the money he raised, he was giving to Mind, the charity. Very cool. There's just a lot. There's a lot of variation as well. There's flower crowns and zines and posters and enamel pins and patches and flags and potion bottles was another one I saw. In fact, thinking about it, it literally looks like this magical fairy market, and all the people there are selling magical things, and all the people are wonderful and creative, and it's just a really good vibe and really inspiring. And one of the things I noticed mostly, and just kept being aware of, was just how much original work and designs and compositions there were. And that, I think, it made me really happy to see, but it also made me a bit sad, because it kind of hammered home how long it's been since I've made any original artwork of my own. As in, actual finished pieces, so not commissions or stuff for work or doodles or just things that don't really look like a finished picture. They kind of just look like an element of a picture, and then I very clearly did not know how to draw the rest. Like that, finished pieces that I made because I wanted to make them. Ideas that I've had for myself. I don't even keep a sketchbook anymore. That's a thing. And I don't really know when I stopped needing, needing to draw as much as I need to breathe. Time was, I remember at uni, I used to put everything that I drew, no matter what it was on, if it was on a post-it or a piece of scrap paper or on a newspaper, anything, I would draw on any paper surface really, and I would just stick it to my wall as soon as it was done. And so my wallpaper for uni was just my drawings, because it wasn't long until they did just cover the walls completely, and I kept adding to it, so it was layers and layers and layers of paper. Because any time I had a thought or a spare second, I was drawing. It was usually something to do with Arksun, my OC/imaginary friend, or the story I wanted to tell with him, and I'd even make up my own AUs of him, and so it was here's Arksun if he was in a band, here's Arksun if he was a mermaid, and it was almost like a compulsion. I had to draw, and I don't even keep a sketchbook. And all I can think of is that somewhere down the road, maybe my confidence took a hit, and I still occasionally doodle, but I always feel the pressure to make it not a doodle. I don't know, doodling just stopped feeling as important as creating these finished, polished, beautiful pieces, but then I didn't make those either. Because all I can think of is that I stopped being able to start doing those pieces because I didn't believe I could make them look the way they did in my head. And this is kind of around the time I moved to London and started getting really involved with YouTube and online stuff, and I was seeing so much polished and inspirational art online, and this is for years and years, mind you, but I was never seeing the behind the scenes and the work that went into them, so it kind of looked like it was supposed to be easy, and I didn't understand why it wasn't easy for me. And then I got into this cycle of just like, well, if art isn't coming easily to me anymore, maybe it's because I'm not good enough anymore. Maybe, I don't know, I'm just trying to trace back my thought process from the past few years, and this is what I think I was feeling at the time, but I'm not sure I do feel that way anymore. Like, it is still a struggle to get started, because I start thinking about all the things I should be doing instead, or all the ways it could go wrong. Like, you know that it's not a saying, it's just it's a thing people say, but it's not a saying, that there's nothing scarier than a blank piece of paper. But I find that once I have the paper in front of me, I'm okay, because then I'll just get started. But the scariest part for me is having the idea, because when you have the idea, you don't always know if you're good enough to have it. Like, I'll have an idea and be like, that's a good idea. Maybe anyone else who could actually draw this should have the idea. Maybe they deserve the idea. Why should I have the idea when I can't make the idea real? But that's just where my head has been at for a very long time. It's just kind of rebuilding the confidence to own my ideas and commit them to paper. Doing this, painting these mermaids, was kind of like an extra step in getting over these stumbling blocks that I've been having with artistic confidence. It's really hard to explain that for a very long time I felt like I've been doing nothing but drawing, but I haven't been making or creating anything. I've had to turn my fan off to record this because of the sound, obviously, and I'm very warm right now and not really sure what I'm saying, apart from I'm back and I'm drawing again. And I do have a sketchbook now. I'm looking at it. It's got mermaids in it and my gem sona, and that's about it. There's no real conclusion to this. I'm just kind of having a ramble, as you know. Hi, welcome to my inner monologue. I think where I'm at now is I've noticed a lot of people, it's kind of like, it's where artists are redrawing their old pieces of work and seeing how they've improved or changed. And I think if my worry is that I'm not going to be able to do justice to the pictures I have in my head by putting them on paper, then I should just do them anyway, because I can always do them again. And if I don't try, then I'm not going to learn. And I need to get things wrong. I need to learn that it won't be perfect, because every artist is always learning, still always learning, and if I don't try, then I won't know what the gaps in my knowledge are, like lighting or colour or anatomy. And I'd like to know what those gaps are, because then I can fill them. So that's what this is. This is a learning curve for all of us. And if you are an artist and you have a similar chain of thought and you're worried about realising your ideas, I'd say just go for it. That's not a fear that you can let hold you back for too long. You can take a moment, pause, reflect, but don't let it stop you. Because I never want to be, ever again, in a place where I'm not drawing. Because drawing to me is breathing. And I have been holding my breath for too long.